Hello everyone, this is Kenneth Bruni from Cambridge Tech and welcome back to the channel. So in the previous video, we learned about how to build some GUI applications, and we are going to basically make this an executable file so that at least it is something you can share easily. Whoever wants to use your application would not necessarily need to have Python installed on their PC. They can just use your application. And we are going to use a simple process. So in the previous video, we had these two applications. Remember, there's a one that's a text to speech, and also there's a one we are using to work on the QR code. So let's just test it once again. So when I run this, I get this interface and I can say this is cool. So whatever thing I type over here, when I click on this speak button, is going to be converted into speech.
This is cool.
All right, so that's exactly what I wanted to have. So we want to, currently as it stands, this application is only going to be on our machine, but I want to make it an executable file. So the way we go about it is we need some few things over here. And we are going to need a third-party library called PyInstaller. So just about now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do pip install, and I'm going to say PyInstaller this way, and I'll press enter. And definitely you need internet for this to work, but then this is a very small library, so just about now it is almost done. So now that we have the library, we are going to package everything using the PyInstaller library, and the syntax is very simple. Now we could use a number of options, bring in an icon and stuff like that, but then I'm going to show you one without an icon and another one with our own icon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type PyInstaller, then I'll do a dash, then a capital F, then a dash W. Now this dash W is optional. It is optional in a sense that if you have an application that is going to make use of the terminal window, then you ignore dash W. But since our application does not make use of the terminal window, we then have to bring this. And because we are not going to use an icon, we don't specify other flags over here. So in here, I'm just going to type in the name of the application, the Python file, which is program.py, as I have it over here. So I can do program.py this way. And let me just collapse this so that everything goes on one line. So I'll press enter this way. Now clearly you could see that it says the operation did not complete successfully because the file contains a virus or potentially unwanted software. And that's simply because your software that you just wrote is not verified, and for which reason your default window defender is trying to protect you. But then there's something we wrote. We know it is not harmful to our system, so we can temporarily turn it off and also work it out. So in order to get going, I'll quickly show you that we just come in here, do a right click over here, go to settings, and then we look up for updates and security, which is the last one I have over here. And then in here, I go to the Windows security. Then I have virus and threat protection. I click on this. And what I need over here is to come here and come and manage the settings over here. So under virus and threat protection settings, I'll click on manage settings, and clearly you could see that the real-time protection is turned on. I'm going to turn it off, and I would have to confirm yes. I'll come back and definitely turn it on after this work, so there's no cause for alarm. Then here too, I'll turn it off, and also the automatic sample submission. Basically turn everything off so that we don't have the problems we are currently having. So everything is looking good, and now I can close this. Now everything is good to go. So I'll close this once again, and I'll come back into the folder, and in order to get everything working, I'll rather delete almost everything over here. Okay, that was created as a result of the initial thing I was working on. So I've deleted everything. I just have the two applications or the Python files showing up over here. So that's them. And I can now go back to what I was doing. So I can basically use the arrow key. If you didn't have your system being protected like the way I did, then definitely everything would have been done by now. So I'm just going to use the arrow key to get this. So it's basically PyInstaller -f -w, and like I said, this -w is optional if we don't want the terminal window showing up. That's what we put out over there, and the Python file is program.py. So I'll press enter, and hopefully this one works. So we'll have to wait for a while, and I believe everything will build up, and we'll have our application, our executable file that we can share with friends and families and anybody who wants to see our programming skills. All right, so it took maybe about a minute or so, and it pretty much depends on the system you are running, but then clearly you can see that it says building executable or exe from whatever complete successfully. So now everything is okay. So now let's come back here and go into, and here we have the distribution folders and everything, as you can see. So currently when I open up this distribution folder, I have this program and this application icon is showing up over here. I'm zooming in a little bit. And like I said, this is what we can share with friends and families. So now when I double click on this to open this, it is now going to open. I don't need to be running the application for this to work. And now when I type in my name, Kenneth Brony, and click on this,
Kenneth Brony
is poking out just as we had. Okay. But then there's something we can share with everybody around us. So this is looking good. But then you could see that we didn't have our own icon. And with the next example, we are going to see how we can include our own icon. So to do that, we definitely have to restructure some few things over here. So what I'm going to do is I have this icon, okay, and it is a PNG file. So basically this is a second application, and I did demonstrate with a second application. This is basically going to create a QR code for us, okay. So depending on whatever thing you want to put it in here, in terms of the data, if I have, let's say data.com, maybe some website link that I want people to scan and get the URL, I can put it over here, and now I can click on create, and this is going to create the QR code, which I can paste anywhere for people to scan. We've seen this in quite a number of places. So now that we have this, we want to get this, but at the same time, as much as we want to generate this, we'd also want to have this icon, which I downloaded online, to be the icon of our application and not what we saw previously over here with this one. Okay. So what I can do is I can just do a Control X, get this application, put it over here. And now basically I don't need these ones over here. So I'm going to delete them. All right. I just need the application, and this is going to work if I decide to open it up. So that's what we have over here working. Okay. So I'm going to close this, and what I need next is to actually move this icon over here because I want to access it. But then there are some few things we need to work out over here. And the fact that when I do a checking of the file format of this icon, I get to see that there's a .png file, and for this to work we need a .ico file. So we definitely have to convert from one file format to another, and there are several ways we can do that. One of the ways I find very easier is to come onto this website and do the conversion, but then you can simply do a Google search of whatever thing, okay, convert PNG to ICO, and you are definitely going to find different online platforms that you can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the file, and this is inside of my code and icon, and I'm going to click on open, and I'll click on upload. So yes, this is what I have, and all that I want to do is to probably select one of these ones, okay, and I can move on to select the size and other things, okay? But then I think something like this will be okay for me. So I'll select this, and then I think I'm okay with everything over here with the default ones. So I'll just click on convert, and the conversion is done. So I just need to click on download your icon, and just about now the download is complete. And this is going to be in my download. So I'm going to go through my downloads, and that's what I have over here. So I'm going to copy this. So I'll do a Control-C and actually bring it in here and do a Control-V. So this is actually what I need, and I want to get rid of this, and I just want to change the name back to icon. Okay, so once again, when I do a right click of this and check out the file format, now you can see that this is a .ico file, and that's looking good. So now let's go back to our program where we can write it to compile everything, and it's going to be pretty much the same as the previous one. Okay, so we type in PyInstaller, then -f, then -w, and this time around we are going to use an icon. So we are going to bring in a -i and the name of the icon. The name of the icon is exactly what we have over here, as in icon.ico, and the name of the file that you want to compile everything is going to be app.py over here. So now let me just close this up, and everything is on one line over here. So we have PyInstaller -f -w, and because we are now using an icon, we have -i. We pass in the name of the icon file, and it has to be a .ico file, and I have finally a an app.py over here, which is basically the application we are trying to execute everything from. So I'll press enter, and this should be done in a couple of minutes. Okay, so as you can see, we get to the final point where everything has completed successfully. And if we open this up, we have those files showing up over here. So now once again, let me just go back, open this up over here, and then now if I'm to go into my distribution, I have this icon exactly how I wanted it, okay, which is the application. So now I'll do a Control-C, and now move the app over here. So remember, this was the icon, which probably I don't need again, so I can delete that one. Okay, so I have this app, and now when I open this app, it is going to open the GUI application for me, and that's exactly what we see over here. And whatever QR code I generate will be saved in this folder. So let's say I now have https //www. let's say kenbrotech.com. Now when I click on this, it gets generated, and as you can see, I have this QR code showing up over here. So yes, we have this already saved. We can put it on a piece of paper for people to scan and stuff like that. So this is looking good. These are really good applications you can build on your own, and also put on your CV, on your LinkedIn profile, or maybe on GitHub, to show that at least you have some practical experience working with Python and also PySimple GUI. Now, if you find this content very useful, I need you to support me in order for me to make some of these content. And one of the ways you can support me is to subscribe to the KenBroTech YouTube channel. Click on the notification button so that anytime I release a video, you'll be duly notified. Also, share this video with friends and family who find this content very useful. At KenBroTech, we say, learn programming, you can do it. Bye-bye, and catch you in the next video.